I gotta wave to my wife. It's tradition. She's, I can hear her thoughts. When you've really become one with one person, it's like, oh no, this is Taryn. Ugh. I'm 6'4.5", and I weigh about 260 pounds. Darn it. My chair is tearing. Anyway, yeah, so it was 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, it's 2.5. Yeah, so it was 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago, it's 2.5, a little over 2.5 years ago. She was taken to the hospital, and so we were all there. There was like 14, I think, of us there at the hospital in the waiting room. Matter of fact, we occupied the entire waiting room, and they just said that they gave us all these numbers of what her breathing was and her heart was and all these other things and how much oxygen there was in her breathing, and then they said that she's not going to be able to leave the hospital. She won't be able to recover, and so they told us all of us to say our goodbyes. And it just, all I could think of was, right, all the span of time. When Debbie and I started dating, I think Carol was just ending high school, I think. And shoot, Debbie and I were, I guess there's like 5 years apart, so maybe she had just been out of high school about a year or so. But it was just a really tough time, and so I'm trying to think which niece it was. I think it might have been Erica said, we should pray, and it was like everybody was, and the whole family was like, yeah, and so we all got up, and mind you, there's a whole bunch of us. Oh my gosh, a bunch, and we're holding hands in there, and we're praying, and there's this thing that you experience. It's hard to explain, but it's like the Holy Spirit just kind of takes over, and all of a sudden you're like listening to yourself pray, and because you're like, those words aren't coming from me, they're coming through me, and anyway, we were praying, right? And I wish I could tell you what we prayed, but to be honest, I don't remember. Anyway, we finished, and Carol's oldest son, some minutes after, it was to the point they were unhooking Carol from all the machinery and stuff, and he just all of a sudden said, no, we need to give it another day. And it was like, let's start moving on it then, right? And man, I'll tell you, but the doctor and there was a PA with the doctor, came in and just said how we were being selfish and she was not going to make it, and we were trying to drag this out, and how wrong this was in the struggle, and this was completely self-serving for us, and not thinking of her, thinking of Carol. And you know what? My nephew dug his heels in and just very forcefully said, no, we need to give it another day. And they had to hook her back up to all this machinery because they were, she was fading. And so, do you know the next day? So they did, okay, they hooked her back up, and watching a hummingbird, and it, well, hello, little hummingbird. And the next day, we get a call, and we're headed to the hospital, and Carol Carol Jo's off the machine, and she's coherent, and she's talking, and she's there, right? She's present, and it was like, wow. And so they only allowed 2 people at a time to go in. I think at times we snuck a 3rd person in there, and so Deb and I were in there, and I think at one point me and Debbie and Carrie were in there, I think. Anyway, Carol started telling us that yesterday, the day before, when it looked like she was going to be leaving us. And, we're all Christians. We're all believers. And we all have different, we're all at different levels, different places, if that's even okay to talk about. But Carol said she felt herself like slipping. And she knew that she's like, I'm a Christian. I'm going to be in heaven. And she said there were these creatures at the foot of her bed that were trying to steal her, trying to snatch her. And she said they were like monsters. And they were, and she told us, this is her words. She said, I almost didn't make it. And I was like, whoa. And I think about God's grace and his mercy to like rise up and her firstborn, to where he said, no, let's go one more day. Pardon me. Point is, that was over 2 years ago. I think it was December will be 3 years, or maybe it's September. Maybe it's next month will be 3 years. And she's still with us. And you know what? She told Debbie, she goes, I need to make amends with some people. I need to have a talk with my daughter. There's some things I need to take care of. And anyway, so Carol is, for the most part, bedridden. I mean, she gets up to go pee, and she gets up to shower. Debbie helps her get a shower. And sometimes she comes out in the living room over at my mother-in-law's, and my mother-in-law's 92 years old, and so, oh, look at that little finch. Hello, little finch. When you get old, you start watching birds. Isn't that funny? I used to think that was the most boring thing in the whole wide world. And I was critical. About a lot of things. I'm still critical about a lot of things. Remember my hat yesterday? I am grumpy. I'm just, older I get, I turn into a crab ass. Yeah. So, Debbie goes over there every day. She makes him breakfast. And then she goes over in the evening and makes him dinner. Carol's son comes over, and I think yesterday he came over and made a big plate of a big casserole of enchiladas. And anyway, the trash man's coming, and there was about over a year, probably 15 months, that our grandson lived here with us. And he was a baby. He had just been born, and his mama, they call them baby mamas, Joey's girlfriend. He was just like, trash man. And is it crazy to say we love our trash man? I love so many things about the city of Phoenix. It's a pretty good sized city. But do you know that guy, when Jason, gosh, I guess Jason was over a year, and he was probably about 13, 14 months old, and they were out here watching the trash pickup because he just loved that, right? He's old boy, big machines, loud noise, and that guy got out of his trash truck and came up and gave Jason a little matchbox of a trash truck, and so, and anyway, I just think that's pretty amazing. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close this off. Now this particular video is 11.5 minutes here. That's not bad. So, why does my hat always look crooked? I wonder if my head's crooked. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I do have to get inside, and I gotta scrub my carcass, shave, and get cleaned up and stuff. We go to breakfast every Monday. It's at this little cafe over in Moon Valley. It's got a bustling business. It's a really good breakfast. You get 2 eggs, either bacon or sausage, hash browns and toast for like $7, and it's really good. And so we have friends from high school, and we have family, and Debbie actually is the orchestrator of it. She texts them the night before, hey, you guys gonna show up for breakfast? And then they'll bounce back, and it's like, so sometimes I think we've had as many as maybe six people, maybe more, but it's pretty neat. And so it's kind of the thing we look forward to, and $7 a breakfast is so cheap, it allows you to be a big tipper. You know, these ladies, they work hard. Oh, they're good. They're real good. And so I don't know if we're allowed to plug a business, in YouTube. So if we are, I'll find out before I put it. So I may be beeping this out. And I would gladly recommend a specific server, but to be honest, they are all 5-star. They're all real good. And anyway, you guys, you have a great day. And just remember, okay, I love you. Oh, and please hit the like button and share this with somebody that you love, and subscribe, please. Thank you.